So we started from very basics, like the CD, how to change directory, how to create a file, how to visualize a file. Let me take history, that would be easier. How to visualize a file, and okay, that's not it. How to remove a file, how to create a directory, and then also we looked on uh, how to work with creating new users, how with creating new groups, how to attach them together, what is the difference between sudo and a normal user, what is how can you also visualize the usage of folders in a particular directory or in as your whole entire disk, how to copy files from one place to another, also how to rename files, and basic manipulations, file manipulations. If you had to print the first 4 lines of a file, right? How can you do that using head? Or if you want to print it from the bottom, how can you do it from tail? And we also looked into the ownership of file, that how what is who owns a file, how can you change the ownership of a file using chown, and also we looked into changing or modifying the permissions of a file, be it on a user level, group level, or on the others, right? Any doubts on that? And if someone is joining us new today, maybe you can go through the recorded sessions of yesterday. I guess you will be able to understand what we are discussing now. And if you face any challenges, you can definitely come back tomorrow and ask questions, right? Does that sound good to Sai and Srija? I guess you might have not been able to join yesterday, right? Is my voice audible to everyone? Uh, Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for responding. And if possible, guys, please respond. Then that makes the classes more interactive, right? And I would be able to understand your issues or whatever problems you're facing. Then I would be able to try to solve them, right? Because me just showing and teaching would be a bit robotic out here. So yep, that would not help us in the long run. So maybe if you can be a bit more interactive, that makes much more easier things. Okay, so let's move on a bit and learn few other sides of Linux refresher before we move into the advanced Linux sides, right? Fine. So first, let's see how can we work with compressing a folder or a directory into a tar file, right? That is also one of the uh, things that we need to do or perform while we are working, is that how if you get a tar file, or if you download a tar file, how can you untar it, or if you have to you export a file from one place to another, maybe you need to also tar that move that file into a directory into a tar file, and then you need to move that across, right? So let's see how can we do that. So let me take a sample one, maybe. Let me do tar this file, right, this folder. So the command line that works is known as tar. So tar will help you to work uh, with that will tar a particular folder, and you need to use few arguments, that is C, V, and F. So what does this stands for? C stands for creating a tar file. Okay, C stands for creating, V stands for verbose. It means it will tell the user when this command is run, that what is happening, right? So it means verbose. So any this V is mostly very much static. In if it is passed in some other commands also in Linux, so it basically denotes to verbose only. So it's very interactive for the user to know what is happening if this command is run. And if means it's just assembling all the files that is present inside this uh, folder together in one path, right? So that is what CVF stands for: create, verbose, and archive into one file. Then you need to put the name of the file, right? Maybe uh, what do you want? Test3 dot tar, right? And then the folder name, test3. Let's see. So you see why I put at V. So it is very much verbose. So what it is doing, it is picking up this file. It is the inside this folder. Sorry, it is picking up this folder. Inside this folder, there was a abc.txt. It has also took that up, and it has, I guess, tarred that file. So you see test3.tar. Now you might ask me that we had already a folder. We could have imported or exported that folder, right? Then why do we need a tar? Okay. Why do we need a tar? Because see, on a global level, if you are trying to export these files, right? Uh, you cannot directly send folders across because someone can manipulate or uh, any changes can be done. But if you are compacting or packaging it together, then that is more risk free, right? And also if you have larger folder size, these stars and this zip, I'll talk about zip also. This zips reduces the size, right? These all you can do also in Windows, as I was saying, just to give you contrary examples, right? If you have a bigger folder in Windows, to compact it or make the size more less, what you do is you zip those files, right, using gzip or whatever. So likewise, the same concepts here also works in Linux. So either you can tar those files or you can zip those files for the same use cases. Only the command line changes, right? Because you don't have a UI over here to interact, you need to work with the command lines. Fine. So if you have tarred the file, then the next common question is, how do I untar the file, right? How to do that? Let's see. It's again tar would be the command line. Instead of C, we will do X and rest will remain the same. So it will be hyphen XVF, right? X stands for decompress. So where is the tar test of 3 dot tar? We can either do it here or we can create a new folder out of it. Let's, we need to wait. Let me create a folder to untar it over there. No, I want to test a 4. Okay. We could have. Yep. So this is how we did the untar of the file. We don't require the extra argument. I was just trying to put that in test4, or we can take this inside test4 and also untar it over there using xvf. Uh, but yeah, this is how we tar and untar. Only the basic difference between tar and untar is using tar, you do it with CVF, and you untar that with using XVF, right? Now let's see, let's change this tar into a zip file, right? Or how can we change this into a zip file? So again, to create a zip file, the command you will have all this in a quick cheat sheet PPT. I will share with you once we complete this first sessions of Linux refresher. Because sharing it before won't make much sense because you won't maybe able to much understand that, right? So how to now work with zip files. So again, as in Windows, you do those zips. In Linux, gzip is the command line that will help you to, this is a utility tool that helps to zip files. This is known as also gunzip, in short form known as gzip. So let me put the ls. So you see an extra, it now has been zipped out. Okay, test3 tar.gz. So it is, this file is now zipped. Okay, means this is now a zip file. Any doubts up till here? Okay.
Akash, out of all the lines I see here, which are the ones which I should focus on? Just now you told me that test3.tar is the one I should see whether it is zipped or. So there are other things like input text, join text, main text. So which one should I focus on while doing this?
Okay, focus on the commands, right? See, I'm working with test3, right? These are all
Hmm.
created for some other inputs, right? Maybe in the folder. Uh, you can focus on the commands, right, that I'm using. So maybe in that only I'm denoting the file names, right? So maybe gzip test3.tar, right? So I just took tar test3.tar to zip that, right? So that is how it is getting zipped out. So
Okay.
whatever is there, the file names will be provided, right? So in
So
that
the
scenario,
outcome
uh,
we got after the comment, this is the outcome that we got, right? So we have
yep,
like
yep.
around. So out of all this, so I'm kind of confused. Like, where should I? What should I see in all of this? This is one. Test3.tar.gz is one that gives me a sign that it has been zipped.
Yeah.
Join
So
text.
okay, we can do that in new directories. That's not of a much of a concern because I have the files over here. So instead of creating each file every time, right? So I was doing it. That's not an issue. We can do that in many ways. And also I can name the files also that is getting created because I think, yep, I can name the files. Don't focus on the other ones. Only focus on the files that is getting created. I will also name those. uh, why I have so many files, you'll get to know, because if I just take up one file, let's just take employee.txt. Maybe there are few command, not commands or inputs, okay, and this, while we learn the uh, advanced, let's say, text processing or those, right, then again I have to create those input files, and that will make our time more, uh, that would not make our time more efficient. But yes, we can go into new folders and work. That's not an issue.
Okay. I'm just comparing this with the operating systems that I use, because if we create a file in the Windows, we just hover it and it will give me the name and the date and the size of the file. Just to
Yep.
have.
So likewise, as I told you, if you do yesterday, ls-ltr, you can see everything: the name of the file, the date when it is created, what are the permissions of the file, who owns the file, right? These were discussed yesterday, correct?
Uh,
Uh, So, and if you want to see the present date of your shell, so it is October 90. You type date and you would be able to correlate. So the, now the date is October 19, 0048, IST 2023. Okay. So you see this file that we just created is 0039 October 19, right? This is how you can also correlate in your system. Okay, then there are few process management commands or process management. What do I mean by process management in Linux is, in my this Linux system, right, or this Linux box, there are multiple internal services or processes that are running. Be it the CPU daemons or be it the sound peripherals or be it some internal services. So those are running. So if you are working in any production environment and you are not sure of what are the processes that are running in that system, right? So how can you get that list, correct? So to get that list, we generally use PS. So PS gives us all the static processes that are running in your box. So for me, it is bash. Okay, first is the PID. So each process has a very unique PID, which so that it does not overlap with the others. So for me, it is now the processes, static processes that are running is known as PS and bash, and you can see the process IDs accordingly, right? And again, these has much of arguments. Those arguments are I won't go much deep because that you can utilize once you start working. Maybe more of it, right? Means uh, what do I mean by those arguments? Maybe with PS you can use PS hyphen EF, right? So PS hyphen EF. If you have, let's say, 100 static processes that are running. So to filter out each and independent process IDs, you can write ps hyphen f and then pipe that. I'll come to pipe. I did not explain, but you can pipe that out with multiple other filters to more filter out your outputs, right? So this is how mostly it works. Apart from the PS, which is static process list that gives us, there is also in our system there are dynamic processes that are running, right? Dynamic processes may be our inits, or what is in dynamic processes we get to see our memory or the CPU that is getting utilized, how many tasks are running, what are the tasks, who is running. All of those details are given in my dynamic processing. So for dynamic processing, you need to use a command known as top. So top will give you the exact list of what are the tasks running, how many are running, how many are active, or how many got stopped. What is your CPU usage, right? What is the memory usage? Each and every details, and also this list out the processes, dynamic processes that are running. Each and everything gets listed out over here, right? So when you are debugging any issues in production or in your debugging, you are not able to understand what is the consumption of my system. Let's say you are running a Apache service, but you are not sure of how much consumption it is making. Maybe you can go to top and then you can find out Apache, or and then you can see how much memory, CPU, and all of those details can be found out from top, right? So these are the two important ones, PS and top for your process management, right? There's one more, but I'm not sure whether it will run on my shell. Yeah, because I don't have much data. There is again T load. T load is basically the load average of your box, because I do not have much load or any backend external processes or services running. So I do not have much load. But if you're on a production box, T load will give you the average load, system load that is running in your box, right? So this is not much of use, but top and PS is more of important, because one will give you the static process list and the other will give you the dynamic list, right? Okay. Now one more other things is, let's say you have a requirement of finding a particular file, but you are not sure uh, of where that file is hosted or where that file is stored. In Windows, it's very easy. You go to that search bar and you type the file out, right? But in Linux, again, the same process can be done using two very unique commands. One is known as locate and the other is known as find, right? You can use these two generic commands to find out files in your system. Now, what is the difference between locate and find? So, locate is an older command, or a, I would say yes, older command to find particular files, and it is a very slow process, and you cannot use multiple filters, means to filter out or to pinpoint to your file that you are trying to search. But with find, it is an advanced command line tool that also takes in multiple arguments from the users that will help you to pinpoint and locate to your exact file that you are trying to find. So this is on a basic difference between locate and find. So in generic, in production instance or wherever, whenever you are working, you can execute find commands to work and get to the file that you are searching for that utility, right? So let me see. uh find, let's work with find and see what we can do and how it works. So find hyphen name, you need to put the name of the file that you are trying to search. Maybe let me take a file. You input. Okay, this does not make much sense for you because you are able to see this file directly over here. But okay, first you need to understand how the syntax works. Find, then hyphen name is the argument of what is the file name that you are trying to search, and then you need to put the file name, right? This is how the convention works. So maybe find hyphen name. Let me put a bigger one. It will cost us. Okay. I do not have an XML file in my Linux box. That is the reason why it has given me null output, right? So it does not have anything to return. Likewise, if you're trying to search a particular file, you give find hyphen name, the name of the file. If it is present, it will be given along with the path from where you are running. So dot slash means in the present directory, you only have this file. But if I had it in some other file, so maybe let me go one step out and let me rerun. So you see now it is giving me from this path, how do you, where do you get this file? So if you do a cd directly to this path, you will get to see the file. So I think you have now understood the power of find. Now we can also modify this file, means this file commands with advanced searches. Maybe what we can do, what do I mean by advanced searches? Maybe you want to find files in a particular folder, maybe which has consumed more than 10 MB or 20 MB or like that, right? You want to filter out the files which is having bigger size, right? So that you can delete or clean up some space. Those things can be done with file. These features are not possible with locate. So that is the reason we generally tend to use find in our day-to-day life. So it is find. Uh, okay, we need to use tilde. Tilde will what will help us to search for the files in that range. And where do you find tilde? Tilde is basically if you are using a Windows machine. So in a Windows keyboard, above the left hand side tab button, there is above that tab there is the tilde, right? From where you get that. Then it is size. Then how much size if you are trying to search for? I might not have any. Let me do with 1 MB. So what it is telling is find in the size of plus 1 MB. So if you find any files that is greater than 1 MB, please do give me back the name of those files, right? So it had given me the output of the files that is more than 1 MB. So this is how you can utilize find commands to narrow down your searches and then work along. Any doubts up till here? Now, let's move along. What about Sai and Srija? Are you not able to hear me? I do not see you guys speaking at all. Okay, not an issue. It's for go a bit. Now let's move into the other side of it, right? Let me move into the text processing side. Okay, how can we process text in Linux? So let me open a notepad. Okay, so what we will now learn is we were mostly learning on the basic commands that we can use from our command shell commands, right? That is what we were mostly looking into, correct? Now what we were trying to learn is, one sec, why it has opened a shell. Yep, fine. So now what we will be learning is text processing with Linux. So what do I mean by text processing with Linux? Let's say you have a file, right? Let me open up a file, cat of, let's say, employee. Okay. So let's say you have this file, right? Employee.txt file. I'm just doing a cat on that to view the file. Now that file has some data, let's say 100 Jason, 200 John, and 400 Ashok, and likewise, right? So let's say now you want to, from this file, you want to find if Sanjay is present in this file or details around Sanjay, right? So to have these sort of uh, features or these sort of processing to be done on a particular text file or in any sort of files, we require to learn a bit of text processing, right? So these text processing can be done with Linux utilities. One would be grep, right? The other one would be sed, and the third one would be awk. So what is grep, sed, and awk? These are basically text processing that utilities in Linux. So each is more powerful than the other. So grep is the basic text processing that you can do. Sed is an advanced level of grep, right? You can more and more define, or if you want to substitute, or if you want to replace a text in a particular uh, te text in a file, post picking that up, those can be done with sed. And again with awk, it's again an advanced version of sed, where we can manipulate files, right? So we will see with examples of what are the differences and how we can utilize those, right? But before we start going into text processing, we need to learn a bit of regular expressions. Why? Because to pick a particular value from a file, we need to uh, learn a bit of regex, or what we know call it as regular expressions. Otherwise, if you do not learn that, or if you do not build your idea on that, you won't be able to go to advanced level filtering out, right? It will be only basic text that you would be passing, and that will not help in your day-to-day work, right? So you need to understand a bit of this. Let me put few examples instead of writing. I'll share you this notes file, okay, so that you can also uh, have a context, and I can also share you the uh, commands that I am running, maybe. Yep, that also is possible, so you can also practice. Okay, what are these regular expressions? So regular expressions are basically, let's say your criteria is, I'm just giving you an example. Again, let's go to this file. Your criteria is finding a file or finding a data, let's say the names of persons present in this file starting with the alphabet J, right? So how can you work with these type of use cases? Or let's say you have uh, again a use case where you want to search for the second name or the surname starting with D, right? How can you do that? For these only, those text processing utilities will help, but again to help those text processing utilities, may be it grep, be it sed, or be it awk, you need to help them to identify the data that you want to work with, right? So in that scenarios, if I have to tell my uh, text processing utilities, hey, only work with the names that is starting with J, for those scenarios, you require regex or regular expressions. So there are few regular expressions. That is, first is uh, anchors, we call it. This is a dollar sign, and this is an I call it the high level caret, right? This is the caret symbol. So what is their use? So where do you find the caret symbol in your keyboard? Caret symbol is present on, if you are using again a Windows keyboard, it is on number 6. If you press a shift, you will get this caret symbol. And if you on number 4, you know the dollar symbol. So any text that you pass post this caret symbol, what it tells is matches any string that starts with D, right? So whatever string value or whatever text value we pass with this caret, it tells that, hey, pick up those texts that matches with the, correct? So far so good, guys? Or it is very difficult? Fine. Do you have doubts? I guess someone was unmuting. No, fair enough. So what it is telling is any string or any line, let's take again for this example, what we can do is, if we put caret of JSON, so what it will do is it will try to see any string that starts with JSON, it will take the output of that, right? Now, if you want to go from the back side, so we need to use dollar. So if pass a text and put a dollar at the end, so what it tells is any text that ends with there is end only, some other do. So any string or any text that it is reading, if it is ending with do, then it will pick up that text, right? So this is the difference between the caret symbol and the dollar symbol. Now these can be used in many permutations and combinations. Maybe if you want to, for a particular line, if you want to again more filter it out, maybe a line if it is starting with D and ending with, let's say, uh, again let's take do. So any line that's starting with D and ending with do, if you want to filter out those lines only, then you can also have these sort of regex getting passed that start with caret symbol, then the text that you want to filter, and do, then the dollar. So what it does is exact string that starts and ends with D and N, these will get picked up, right? Next, there is quantifiers. So what are quantifiers? Quantifiers is picking up means having a broader range of filters. So let's take the first example. Examples will help you to understand. So the quantifiers are of three types: the star, the question mark, and the second brackets or the braces that we say, right? So what does this star symbol stands for? So A, B, C dot, and then if you put a star, so what it signifies is matches a string that has AB followed by 0 or C. So what it will do is it will try to find a string. Okay, what is a string? You might have that question. So string are these individual text that you see. So this is an entire string. Okay, this is an entire string. String is a just like these are integer numbers. String are alphabets or uh, special characters. Those we call string. Okay. Now coming back. So what it will do, this star signifies is anything that matches or starts with A and B, but is followed by a C or there is no C, right? It will pick up those strings or text. Likewise, you do not have to remember this. So once you start working, uh, at least when you read someone's code or when you are looking into some doubts, at least these characters that is there, right? That should not be some alien things to you suddenly, right? So that is the reason why I'm giving you a understanding of this, right? Because when you start working in DevOps, so you might have work with Jenkins or you might be seeing automation scripts, right? So someone might have wrote those scripts based on their use case and logic. Now every time you might not be developing a automation code or these things, you might be reading someone's code to debug, right? So in that scenario these things should not be alien to you, because some at least you know, okay, they have used a regular expression. Okay, I need to check or do a follow up on and take some information on these things, right? Then you will be able to much remember on the topics that we discussed now today, and it will give you that thought. Otherwise, if you suddenly see this, right, ABC question mark, you'll get confused, right? What is this now? What are they trying to say, right? So that is the first thing. And once you start practicing and once you start doing things, then you will be much more comfortable with that. Correct? Now, what does this plus symbol suggest? Plus symbol suggests is match a string that has AB followed by 1 or more C. What it tells is, if it is, for an example, these these can take in strings like ABC or ABCCC or ABC like this. What strings or what string outputs it will filter? It will only filter ABC or AB or ABCCC like this. So there is a basic difference between the star and the and the plus. So in plus, the third character should be present once or more than once, but in star it can be a zero also, right? The third character can or cannot be present also. This is the basic difference between the two. What is then a question mark? Question mark stands for only one or zero, means the string can only have AB or ABC. It cannot have AB double C or triple C. Those sort is not possible in the it is not possible for the others, right? Now, the third and the most final point is you had no now know star, you now know plus, you now know question mark. The third is braces. So again, braces has its own functionality. So what if you do ABC braces of 2? So what it signifies basically is match a string that has AB followed by two C's, means it will only give you results when there is A, B, C, C. It will not give you if there is ABC or AB or ABC. Only it will give you results if it is having two C's or two C's. It will again not give you results for even for A, B, C, C, C if it is gone to three C's. So this is we are restricting the number of characters that we want to pick that string for, right? Again, we can multiple do multiple ranges with it. 2 to 5 means pick only strings that is having two C's to five C's, right? Here it is if you are giving 2 and then comma after it, so it means start with only to pick up strings that starts with 2 and it can go to n numbers, right? So these are few things that we have, and once we start working with grep, sed and awk, we will look into how these are getting utilized, and these things will become more and more clear to you, right? So let's take up the first. I think we are very near to today's end, but we can think finish grep for today. Fine. So grep is the normal utility tool that helps in our search patterns, helps searching a pattern through piped information on a particular file. So what is it saying? It is saying grep helps to search a pattern through piped information on a particular file. So in your most of your day-to-day life, when you are working in DevOps production or DevOps in your lower environments, you the grep would be your go-to tool. Sed and awk will be more of scripting things. You won't be using it day to day, but you will be definitely using grep on a very regular basis. So what it is saying is it is used to search a pattern through pipe. What is pipe? So I will show you what this is known as a pipe symbol through piped on a particular file. This is what grep stands for, right?
Cool.
Now let's take few examples. Yes, I'll take doubts. Give me 1 minute. First, let me run a quick command and then let's take in your doubts. So what first let us understand what is pipe. I have so many files over here, correct? In this directory of study GCP DevOps. What does this pipe symbol do is, let's say I am running ls-ltr. What this command will do? This command will give me the entire list of the files and folders that is present in this directory. Now, if you want to combine two, or if you want to combine the result of one into the other, or if you want to filter out these searches, you can use Linux gives you a filter known as pipe. This is the pipe command. So what it tells is, hey, you need to run this, but you need to also follow whatever we pass post our pipe. Maybe another command, or maybe a filter command, or maybe a search pattern. You need to also take these into consideration. So if I pass grep of names if.sh, So it will only see, it has now given me the contents of only if.sh. So this is the power of grep. I will give you more examples, but at least on a very fundamental basis, you need to know what is pipe. Pipe is combining two commands together, taking the consideration of also the inputs or the arguments that you pass whenever the first command that you run is also taken into consideration. Yep. Someone was asking questions. Please go ahead.
Because you said grep is a tool, so I was wondering like, is it a command or a tool?
It's a Linux. It's not a directly a tool. It's a I was it is a utility tool. Okay, but it
Oh,
is a Linux own inbuilt feature that is given to you. You do not have to install or do anything. Like it's just like a utility tool or a command line. I would in very specific. It's a command. Okay.
so
Just like other ones, be it the CDs, be it the mkdirs. This is also uh, command line. But we generally in technical terms we tell these as utilities, okay, a Unix utility or like that, right? Because it gives you a very specific feature, right? That is text processing, so we call this a utility tool,
oh,
right? Fine, so we took the very first example of how what we can do grep, and you can see just on this very example that we had just filtered out our result, right? Only running ls-ltr would have only given me all the data. But if I want to only specifically find a particular file, I was able to do that with grep.
oh. Okay. On a high, I would like to know on a higher level, how do we, what do we do with these files? Like, for example, in the DevOps point of view, uh,
What do we do with in DevOps point of view? My examples are not finished, but okay, if I want to answer you that first. So let's say you are preparing a Jenkins file or a Jenkins automation, right? In your Jenkins file, when you are writing, you need to because those are automations and those are user dependent, right? So first things first is when user is passing, let's say, some data, and you need to replace those data with your files, right? That is one of the very major thing that we perform, that is substitution and replace. So set can help us or awk can help us having those features. Again, let's say in if you in automation, if you're traversing through a particular file and if you want to filter out a very particular file, then you need to use grep's, right? These are automation sites I'm saying, right? In DevOps, again, let's say you are working on a production Kubernetes system, right? You went into a particular pod. Now you are trying to debug, right? Let's say if a binary is present or not, or if so how can you work on those things? There are multiple use cases. Once you start learning this, right, you will only able to figure out this has n number of use cases in terms of if you are writing any terraform scripts, and there also you need to have knowledge of grep and this text processes. If you're writing a shell script, right, maybe you want if you're writing a if you're doing a task manually day after day, and if your manager or someone is telling, hey, automate this one, so you need to write a shell script, right? So in these utilities will help you over there.
okay. So is it the commands are kind of same in the shell script also?
Yes, if you are running a shell script, yes, commands are same. Commands never change. Syntax never changes. Only the logic will change, right? So what is
Oh,
shell script? Shell script is what we are doing this manually line by lines. We just consolidate that together in a script, right? Only the syntax wise how we do that in a script changes, but if you are doing a grep, right? Or if you are doing a cd, those remains the same, right? Even if you are using it in a script, where you are using it will be a very different aspect, but the functionality wise it never changes. Okay, uh, let me give you one example and then okay, let's do few examples with grep. We have 5 more minutes left. So let's say in this present directory, this is my present directory. If I have a requirement of finding, let's say, files that starts with employee, right? Can we do that? Yes, there are multiple ways. First is doing an ls ltr and then piping that with grep and then putting that filter name. Will do that. Again, you can also do that directly. That grep of employee start. Let's see. Okay, yep, yep, we need to pipe it. It's my bad. We got this. Array, yep. What did this say? Yeah. So the syntax wise, I was doing a Mac one, but yeah. So you see the power, right? So if I only want to find out the employee, only I passed in employee word, right, or a string or a pattern, and I wanted to see if these sort of pattern, these matches, these type of word files are there, which is named with this employee string. Are those there? You can take those outputs out, right? Now let's go into use a bit of regex to give you more of understanding of what advanced thing that you can do with that. Or maybe we can take this in the next class also. I can share you this, right? You can go through this once. Maybe we can start with it tomorrow, right? Yeah, you can also have your time. Okay, so I had given you these notes, quick notes that I did write for grape, or set and regular expressions. Please do go through it once. If you have any doubts, we can discuss it tomorrow, and then we look into how we can use this regex to parse our values, right? And yeah, now we will also then look into sed and awk because this is a very new thing to you. Okay, do you have any doubts? Uh,
No, Akash, have to go through this.
Yeah, please go through it and I maybe let me see if how I can share you the PPTs and at least the basic of Linux you now understand the basic functionalities and the commands, so you can also utilize those. Yeah.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
The the
Ah,
editor which you told yesterday, is it a VI editor or VL editor?
VI editor. Let
VI
me type it
editor.
out.
Oh,
This is VI editor.
oh. It's already integrated here, Akash,
Yes,
while you're
it's
doing.
inbuilt in Linux. Yes, it's these are inbuilt tools. I am not installing anything separately.
Yesterday, I installed this Ubuntu. So you mean to say it is already there in that?
Yes, it is present. It is a part of the package that Ubuntu. Just like Grape and those VI editor
Oh,
is also inbuilt tool that is given to you for your use. Yep, yep. Any other questions?
no.
Okay, fair enough. Let's connect back tomorrow and then we look into advanced text processing with the Grape, Thread, and Awk, right? Yep. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks a lot for joining in. Have a good day. Bye bye.
yeah, thank you.